Hi everybody, welcome to the Quick and Carry Kitchen. I'm Kristen Madrine and I am delighted to be coming to you today from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners page, which is literally one of the best groups on the whole entire internet. Hi to all of you who are joining us live, and this is my sister Sarah Scheiber, who's joining me today to talk about being a new Instant Pot user, because you are a new Instant Pot user, aren't you?
I am, and I'm a little afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it. We're going to cure you of your afraid today.
Okay.
So,
hi everyone.
as you can see, we have a lot going on. I have 3 Instant Pots in front of me right now. In this one, we're cooking some potatoes. And in these 2, we're cooking rotisserie chickens. And rotisserie chicken was your idea. Why?
Yeah, because I do the Whole30, and when you go to Meijer to pick up a rotisserie chicken, it has sugar in it. And so that nixed one of our easy meals at our house. And so I need to know how to do the easy meal without going to get it at Meijer.
And why do you need easy meals at your house?
Well, so my teenage boys think a bowl of cereal is a nice dinner. So,
I'm trying to teach her. It's kind of hilarious that, like, I'm a gourmet cook and know a lot about Instant Pot cooking, and she doesn't know very much about it at all. So this week, as we've been preparing for this show, we've been teaching Sarah some of the tips and tricks that a new person needs. Like today, I showed her about the sealing ring.
No idea. No idea. I had to look at that thing. It's making noise.
I know, it is making noise. So, but look, the
out.
pin came up, see?
Okay.
So one of the fun things to remember about an Instant Pot is that it's like an enclosed box. And once the liquid, usually water, that's in there with the potatoes, once the box comes up to pressure, the little sealing pin will pop up, and see, now there's no more steam coming out of it, just a little escapes there, right? And so you don't need to worry about it, and it's going to start counting down. I have a full pot of Idaho potatoes in here, but actually they're Buckley, Michigan potatoes grown by my dear friend and my favorite farmer, Joanne Olds. So shout out to Joanne for the wonderful potatoes. And this Instant Pot is full to the brim with potatoes. They're not even on a trivet. There's a cup of water in the bottom. And those potatoes will be perfectly done when we take them out. Why don't we see who's here?
Well, good afternoon, Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Margaret says she has 3 pots at home, so I'm impressed you must not be a beginner.
No, she's not. She's a good friend of mine.
Also, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy Leathers. How are you?
And Becky, and they all say hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Kathy, to you too.
Kathy's a good friend of mine, one of my knitting friends from Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
So, we are going to do a rotisserie chicken, but do it in an Instant Pot. And this is delicious, but I'm going to tell you that it is a super messy recipe. I want to give a shout out to where I found the recipe is on a wonderful blog called lakesandlattes.com, a woman in Ohio. And I love her recipe already, so shout out to Lakes and Lattes for her wonderful recipe. And I also want to say a very happy shout out.
Sounds like a lady after our
I know,
heart.
Lakes and Lattes. We should go meet her for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We'll drive around a lake while we sip our coffee.
That sounds
right?
good.
Okay. I also want to give a shout out to Max Bauer's Meat Market here in Traverse City, Michigan. They donated these beautiful chickens. And you want about a 3 or 4 pound chicken whole with everything taken out of it. Why do we say that?
Well, my 22-year-old daughter made a chicken this week, her first one, and I told her to look inside that there's stuff in it. She wouldn't have known. So she did. She said, Mom, you were right. There was like stuff in there.
Awesome.
I have cooked it in there before. I might have forgotten.
Yeah. Okay. So I've prepared this chicken before the show because this part is messy. We will send you the recipe if you request it, and we have a link to the recipe also somewhere in the comments, or I can't see what you all are seeing, but anyway, we will be sure to give you this recipe. I have mixed paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, thyme, and a little turmeric together with oil and made a paste. And then I put the paste all over both sides of the chicken, and I cut and used my hands to go under the skin. So I've also put the paste up under the
Are you
skin.
kidding me?
No,
Okay,
it's
but if I just want to put it in there and salt and pepper it, am I okay?
you can, yeah, but it
Okay.
won't taste as good. And you wanted a rotisserie chicken, so I'm giving you a rotisserie chicken. Remember, most of the rotisserie chickens that you have do have a spice rub on them, and that's where
That's
the
the
sugar
sugar.
comes in, right? So
Okay.
I've got my Instant Pot hot over here.
But I don't have to go upside.
You don't have to if you
I
don't
can
want
just-
to. You can just put it on the top, and you could do it with a brush or with a spoon if you don't want to get your hands dirty, but I'm okay with the hands. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this whole chicken and plop it down in my hot on saute. Nothing in there. There's no oil. It's just a bare Instant Pot that's
How'd you
already
get it
hot.
on there?
I put saute till it said hot. All right, and so we're going to let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes while we talk about the rest of the recipe. Or we can answer a question. Who's here? Let's see who else
There
is
are
joining
a
us.
lot of people joining us. Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
Donna.
Desi Bear.
Oh, hi, Desi.
Oh.
Hey, I'm so glad you're all joining us this morning. And remember, you can totally get the recipe.
Margaret is wondering, did you brown the chicken first?
No, I'm browning the chicken right now. So the chicken, I put the rub on the chicken, and now I'm going to brown it 3 to 5 minutes on one side, and then I'm going to turn it over and brown it on the other side.
Just like I do with my roast. What about this thing?
You don't need it yet, because you want this to be, you want the skin of the chicken to be right against the hot Instant Pot, okay?
Right.
So we'll get this when it's ready. All right. I'm going to put that there on the plate where we're going to put the chicken when it's done. Now, I have an onion that I've cut in half. This half is going to go back in the bird. This half is going to go in the bottom of the Instant Pot in just a minute. So, let's talk about one of your questions.
Okay.
Why Instant Pot, right?
Yeah, I can't quite figure out why. Like, I love my crock pot. I don't really bake because I leave that up to her, and she comes to visit and brings me baked goods and my kids. I'm opposed to baking. But if I'm gonna bake, why in the world would I want to put it in here and not just put it in a cake pan?
Well, that's a great question for you, our viewers. Why would you want to use your Instant Pot instead of your oven or a cake pan to bake or your crock pot to make your beef stew? Why would you use your Instant Pot instead? Well, there's a couple things to remember. There's a lot of people who live where it's very hot and they don't want to use their ovens and heat up their houses, okay? So for people who live where it's hot, the Instant Pot is a wonderful way to cook. And with the Instant Pot, you can walk away and forget it. And I think that that's one of the best parts of having an Instant Pot is, yes, we're preparing a recipe today, but once it's in the pot, we can go for a ride around the lake with our latte and leave the Instant Pot completely alone to do all of the work. So I can tell that it's almost done on one side because smell that? It smells wonderful. So we're going to turn. You can check who's with us again.
All right. Let's see. Well, Donna says good morning from Iowa. So
Hi.
hello, Donna. My husband goes to Iowa a lot for business. Floria and Diane. Hello to you guys.
Oh, look who's here. Sarah, our friend Rose Demore. Hi,
Rose.
How are you? Hi.
One of our moms. Floria loves chicken and curry.
Well, you will love this. It smells
Hi,
so
Sandy.
fragrant. It is delicious already. You can just tell. All right, let's talk about the other thing that you said to me this week when we were talking about it. The Instant Pot is not instant.
No, this is my husband's big thing. He says this whole thing is a lie. That it is not really instant. It could be called a quicker pot, but not really an instant pot because it's not.
It's not. And I think it's really important to say, it's not an instant pot, but what it is a wonderful tool in your kitchen. And just like if you were getting your crock pot ready, You would have had to have thought of that at 8 o'clock this morning before you left the house.
Yeah.
And you would have had to thought to yourself, okay, I've got to get everything ready and prepped, okay?
Yeah.
If you were making something in the oven, you would turn the oven on to preheat and you would wait until that was done. And then you would put your cake or your roast or whatever you're putting in. So you have to think of the Instant Pot the same way. There is a prep time while it comes up to pressure. And as we saw with a huge pot of potatoes, with just a little water in it, it took what, about 15 minutes for maybe that to come up to pressure. But now, see, it's counting down. It was at 20, now it's at 15, and it'll eventually come to done, and then it will beep. But do you want to tell everybody about the beeps?
So, something I have learned, I've only used it about 3 times, and my sister lies to me and says you really can't do anything wrong. And of course, the first couple times, I do something wrong. So, one thing I've learned is there's different beeps. Because she said when it beeps, you have to push this thing with a spoon and, you know, all the steam comes out. And my husband doesn't like it coming out on my cupboards, so then I have to think about that too. But
I'm going to interrupt you because this is the most important part. You all who've watched my show before know that I love a good deglaze. This chicken has cooked in the bottom of the pot, and now I'm going to deglaze it. Okay, watch what happens.
Yum.
Smell that? How fragrant it is? Now watch this carefully, honey.
Okay.
I'm getting all the stuff off the bottom. See?
So there's lots of stuff cooked on the bottom that's coming up.
And all of that is going to make our gravy, okay?
All right.
So, and the pressure will not build inside of an Instant Pot if there is burned stuff on the bottom of it. Oh. So this is super important that
Seriously?
you don't... Don't ever forget this step. Plus, look at what it. Describe what you're seeing.
Oh,
delicious
fine.
brown gravy.
Yum.
See that? That's going to be our gravy later. All right, I'm going to turn the pot off of saute, so we're done. Where are you? Off. There we go.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add a little bit more of the broth. There we go. So the deglazing the pan is one of the most important steps in any kind of cooking, but in Instant Pot cooking, it's super important to build your flavor. So that just puts a whole new level of deliciousness underneath our chicken.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now we have our chicken on the trivet, and I am going to take this sliced onion and put it in the pot to make the gravy yummy. Then I'm going to take the other half of the onion and I'm going to put it in the cavity of the bird. And then I'm going to also tuck in half of a lemon. And probably some of you do this when you're making a Thanksgiving turkey. And this just really lends sweetness and bright notes. And I'm taking some celery up in him too.
Kathy is telling us that she lives in Florida, and yes, it's very true. It's good to use an Instant Pot
Yep.
because the oven heats up the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Us Michigander girls.
We don't know anything about
No,
that. No, we don't.
That's right about now. We like a hot house.
Okay, so see how he's all trussed up and ready to go. And I've got him on.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to take my whole bird,
All right.
who's now stuffed, and he's going to go back in this pot. There he goes.
Okay.
And I'm going to put on my seal. I'm going to seal my lid on.
Wait, now there was some stuff on there. Is that okay?
Well, I'll wipe it off.
Because isn't that one of the rules? It has to be clean.
There you go. And now, for me, because I have an older pot, I'm going to touch manual. And then see the minus and the plus? I'm going to go to 25.
Okay, but is that one of the rules?
Well, I watch it. I'm glad you saw that. It is. It's a good thing to have everything clean as you seal it up. All right, so now here's what's going to happen. Listen for a second. There's the first beep. And that first beep just tells you that it's on, okay?
All right.
In 11 minutes, this is going to beep and tell us that it's done, and that's a different kind of beep. I don't think we'll still be on the air by then. Now, I already made a chicken this morning. So this one is done, and we're going to show you. Excuse me, honey. So, in this Instant Pot, I have an already finished bird. So there he is. Look at that. And, of course, you're going to take out the onion and the lemon. So I'm going to just get those out of there, and then our bird is ready to go. Doesn't he look nice?
That looks great.
Yeah,
That's
it does look
delicious.
really, really great. But I want you to also come over here and look at what's in there.
Oh, yummy.
It's about 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups of delicious looking gravy. So I'm going to put this pot on saute. There, it's on saute. This is a little different pot than you use. So I'm going to tell it to start. And in this bowl, I have, is it a 1/2 tablespoon or a whole? A whole tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm going to take out about 1/2 cup of this gravy. Maybe just a little bit more. See that? Okay. Now I'm going to swish this around. And you're just making a little cornstarch slurry. See? And just make sure, you might remember Mom doing this when we were little. She had this little Tupperware thing and she shook it all the time. So that's what Mom was doing.
I think that's why I'm afraid of it.
Maybe.
Is because Mom used that pressure cooker and it would make noise and it was kind of scary.
So what we have here is the slurry, and I'm going to add it back in. And this will cook on saute for 3 to 5 minutes, and it'll thicken as a lovely gravy. So there you go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. So that'll thicken, and that'll go over our wonderful potatoes. All right, let's see what else anybody has to say. Yes, Kathy asked, did I do 25 minutes on high? Yes, and let's talk about a natural pressure release. Thank you for this question.
But this has to do with the beeps, right?
This has to do with the beeps.
So I went to the wrong beep, and I thought when it beeped that it was ready to go down on the numbers, that then it was time to push the button and let the steam out.
Right, but here's the nice part about the Instant Pot. You don't ever have to stand here and let the steam out. You can just let it go. And with anything that you make that's done with meat, you want to give it a natural pressure release. A natural pressure release is the best for meat because, especially in the pressure cooker, when you push the juices out of the meat, that's going to leave you with dried up meat. And so just like when Brian makes a steak on the grill, he cooks the steak and then lets it rest for a few minutes before you eat it. That brings the juices back in to the steak and makes it better.
All right.
The same thing happens with Instant Pot cooking. So it's a good rule that anything that you make that has to do with meat, you let it have a 10-minute natural pressure release. So when the pot counts down to 0 and it beeps, beeps, beeps that it's done, it'll then count back up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is when you can go over and release the pressure.
Wait, yesterday you told me I don't have to release.
You don't ever have to release the pressure. It'll do it on its own. But if you're in a hurry, and remember we talked about, like, if you're making potatoes, because Brian has a steak on, potatoes aren't meat. They don't need a natural pressure release. You can just, once they're done cooking, release their pressure and they're ready to be served. But with something like this, we want it to be nice. You want to let it have at least a 10-minute natural pressure release so that the meat is moist and tender. And that's just a good rule no matter how you cook your meat. Okay, any other questions?
I have one. Are there other rules? The rules are you have to have that, this has to be clean or it won't seal, right?
And you have to have your sealing ring in place. And that
Which I didn't know I had.
Right. So the sealing ring is also super important.
Okay.
And you can read on the Instant Pot 101 for beginners. There's lots and lots of threads about how to take care of your sealing rings. You can wash them. You can put this whole thing in the dishwasher, the whole top. You can take your sealing ring out and you can put it in the sun. You can wash it in your dishwasher. You can wash it in hot soapy water. There's lots of tricks to get the smell out of your ring. Remember we looked at your ring and yours was perfectly white and mine is yellow because it's been used. That tells you everything about who's used their Instant Pot, right? But you can also get separate sealing rings. Like I told you, you could have a blue one for your, you know, if you were going to cook a cheesecake, and a red one for if you're going to do chicken curry. And that's a way that a lot of people have gotten a solution to the sealing ring problem. But you do have to make sure that your sealing ring is back in place before you lock on your lid. So that's a great question.
Okay. All right. And Margaret says that I can forget dinner all day and still have it done in time.
And I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for a working woman. That's a great thing to know.
I get home at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and I can have dinner by 6, and it can be frozen. The other day, I took 3 very chunky organic chicken breasts that were frozen, and I threw them and a box of broth and some vegetables in the pot, and it was 35 minutes later, I had a delicious dinner.
Amy says they do a quick release because her boyfriend gets impatient and
Oh.
hungry.
Well, and I'm sure that's fine, but for meat to be the most tender and the most flavorful, you want to give about a 10-minute pressure release. Tell your boyfriend it'll be worth it. All right, so we are going to finish and have dinner here at the Quick and Carry Kitchen. We have gravy, we have a chicken, and we have potatoes. This is delicious. It was very easy. The worst part was getting my hands messy, but it looks like we have accomplished a gourmet meal, and it was really, wouldn't you agree? Very simple.
Oh, it was very simple. Yeah.
All right. I want to say thank you to all of you on the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners page. We are here as Quick and Carry Kitchen. We're sponsoring the day. Please enter to win one of our awesome Quick and Carry travel tote bags for your Instant Pot. We have them in 8-quart, 6-quart, and 3-quart sizes, and they are a wonderful way to take your Instant Pot.
Yeah.
How else are they used in our family?
Oh, we carry baby stuff. We use them as suitcases.
They're wonderful as a weekender. We have 3 new babies in our family. 3 baby girls were born in our family this year, and they all use their Instant Pots, their moms,
Yeah.
and they have Quick and Carry bags. Imagine that. You can also enter to win some of our awesome Quick and Carry utensils. And everybody who watches my show on a regular basis will know that I just love my Quick and Carry tongs, and they are perfect for working in an Instant Pot. They're very, very strong. The silicone is the best you can buy, and we tested all of these to make sure that they would work and last for Instant Pot cooking. So you're going to love these. So be sure you enter here on the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners page, because you could win either a set of our utensils or one of our awesome Quick and Carry bags.
We do have a question. Can
Okay.
we take a question? Yeah. Okay, Andrea wants to know what is the difference in cooking if you do the quick release versus the natural release.
Okay. A quick release is when you go over and turn the knob and let the steam out by yourself, and that just takes all of the steam out of the pressure cooker. Then it allows the pin to drop, kerplop, it'll drop, and then the pin, and then you can turn your lid and open it. And that just is for foods that you can quickly be done with. Potatoes, eggs, for instance. If you're going to make hard-boiled eggs in your Instant Pot, which is one of the best reasons to have an Instant Pot, 5 minutes on high pressure, and then you can release the pressure and put them, or is it 5-5-5? It's 5 minutes on, 5 minutes natural pressure release, and then 5 minutes in a bowl of cold water, and you're ready to peel the best eggs you've ever made. So,
but does that mean I only tell it 5?
You only tell it 5. Mm-hmm.
I just say 5 and it knows 5 up, 5 down.
Right.
And then I do this thing.
Yep.
That
Yep.
thing.
And so the quick
But
release.
do it with a spoon.
Do it with a spoon.
Yeah.
You can just reach over and let it go. Like that. I now do it. Yeah, see? There's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah. There you go. But it's not done cooking, so let's turn it back on.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You told me I can't do anything wrong.
No, you can't. See, we already fixed it. So that was a great question. So quick release is when you let it go as soon as it's done cooking and you release. Natural pressure release is when you just let the pot sit there on your counter. As it counts back up, it will tell you how many minutes it's been since it was done cooking. And here's the best thing about an Instant Pot. You can leave it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If you're out walking the dog, or your neighbor stopped by to visit, or you're on an important phone call, it'll sit there and it'll just keep your food warm, and you can't ruin anything. And that's one of the messages I want you to understand, is that even a fancy chicken, you can't ruin it. You can't ruin a beef stew. You can get stuff that burns, and that's a different show. But for the most part, an Instant Pot is super safe. It has 10 levels of redundancy of safety, so you can't get hurt like Mom's old one.
Yeah.
And
it won't explode.
it will not explode.
Okay.
And you can mess things up and go back and start them over and finish them.
Oh.
It's a very flexible way of cooking your family a delicious hot dinner. And especially for something like this, you now know that you can make a rotisserie chicken in your Instant Pot while you're on the go some night, and the boys don't have to have cereal for dinner.
Yeah. Awesome.
So thanks to the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group for hosting us today.
Thanks for letting me be a beginner.
If you have any questions or comments, leave them here, and we will be sure to answer any of the questions that you have. So thanks for coming. Yeah, I will. Thanks for coming on the show today, Sarah. It was great to have you. We're going to go have a quick and carry lunch, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day. And as Julia Child used to say, bon appetit.